Hello everyone and welcome back to another Babbling Irons video with myself and Sloth today. This is a nice little breakdown of Julen Lopetegui's first press conference at West Ham. It was interesting, some of the quotes that have come out with him and Tim Steidten as well, who was there. So yeah, we're going to break it down. We're now into, obviously when we're recording this, 1st of July. So officially the transfer window is now open. A lot of work still to do. We've had a few departures already. Ben Johnson, Kera, Mubama obviously went on a free. Ben Rama's gone. So a lot of outgoings. Obviously, Gil Hermes, the one main signing, as well as Foderingham. So yeah, we're just going to go through some of the quotes that have come out of that presser because it's an interesting one, isn't it, Slough? With the amount of work to do, there's been a lot of rumors and things flying around about the budget and where the money's going to be this summer without outgoings, etc. So yeah, it's good for us to kind of go through these quotes and give our thoughts on what we think is going to happen this summer and read between the lines of some of the stuff they're saying. So, first and foremost, Sloth, what did you make of the press conference? I thought Lopetegui came across really, really well.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think he seemed really comfortable, but he was also just saying the right things. It wasn't a case of it felt like he was trying or just to try and give West Ham fans, a bit of what they wanted to hear. It seemed like both of them had a plan and they felt confident executing it. And that's something that I think, we've spoken so often about the scattergun approach that we apparently have. And I think it was really refreshing that both of them just seemed to be on the same page. And, one thing that in particular that impressed me was Lopetegui talking about how he's already really spoken to Paquetá and Alvarez, and it seems like it's not just a case of wanting to sign players. It's all about assessing what he has and keeping players on side and basically establishing the situation as it is. So if Paquetá is stressed in any way, which obviously he would be with the whole gambling thing over his head, I think it's really good that he's gone out there, spoken to him, obviously spoken to his family as well, and found out the lie of the land. And hopefully he knows a bit more than us. Hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's an interesting blend, that one, because obviously Lopetegui himself is the new manager. It's a new environment for a lot of these players that are going to be playing underneath him. He's obviously had a little bit of experience at Wolves in the Premier League, so he already kind of alluded to the club and the potential. And a lot of managers have said that since we moved to London Stadium. And I remember Bilic saying it at the time. I remember Moyes saying it. I remember even Pellegrini saying it. So they're all kind of parallels to what we've heard before, right? West Ham is this big club in London that has huge potential of being a really successful club. And I think we've definitely broke the barriers of that in the last few years and shown glimpses of that and how we can push into that kind of big six or disrupt the kind of big six. It's a much tougher task these days. But in terms of kind of what we have to do in the transfer market, this is what this focus is going to be, because, some of the quotes that were coming out, we'll bring up the first one here, which is Tim Steidten himself saying, we're not limiting ourselves to one position. We're looking at all areas. England is our home, so we have to be in that market if possible. We are looking elsewhere too. That's part of our job to find the right players for West Ham. So instantly, this is the first thing that, a lot of people are saying about Steidten when he goes to the likes of Brazil and he hasn't really been scouting in England. He's already alluding to the fact there that you're going to have to go into different markets. It's not just going to be every single player you sign is a Premier League player or a Championship player based in England. It's going to be, you do have to find these different players. And if anything, it's a positive that he's looking into these different markets. I don't really understand the backlash that he gets for the likes of the Brazil networking and scouting that he's doing. And yeah, what are your thoughts on it, Slough? Because I just don't really understand the criticism there.
I think it's refreshing to hear. Well, look, we both know why he gets the backlash, because there are certain elements of the fan base that I think have an attitude or, understandably don't like change. Change isn't good.
Yeah.
But I think they fail to see, or maybe they choose not to see, the groundwork that's been laid, the influence in deals that he's obviously had already, And, you know, it's very easy to label him a Brazilian holiday enthusiast. It's very easy to sit back and go, oh, this deal's not worked out. Well, you know, that's how things work out in football and business in life. If you know, we established personal terms with Wesley Gasova, we couldn't establish a deal. We may well revisit it. We've established personal terms with a number of players, and then they've come back and said, well, you know, I don't fancy the move anymore.
Yeah.
Fair enough. You have to adjust to these things. That's football. It could well be that you get another team in the market that decide that they want that player and they're willing to pay more. How it goes. But I think the thing that seemed quite refreshing was he had the plan and he seemed to be like, well, you know, we've got an adaptable approach. We have a list, but if we can get deals done, obviously we'll get them over the line. But it's a case of what's best for West Ham, or that's how it came across to me. And, you know, as we were saying in the live stream the other day about Downs, the sale and the price is about what's best for West Ham, not necessarily the player. Unfortunately, it's modern football. You have to do what's best for the club. And I got the sense from that press conference that that was very much the idea going forward. And as you said, with exploring wider markets, you know, we've heard he's been scouting in Belgium, you know, South America, out watching apparently an Asian player in the Asia Cup. So he's been doing the groundwork. It's just a case of us moving for them and financially agreeing on things.
Yeah, exactly. It's never going to be. It's almost like as well because he came back from Brazil with Guilherme. It's not like he went to Brazil and came back empty-handed. As you said there, Bruno, the centre back, was everyone thought was kind of a done deal, and then he himself and his agent changed the goalpost at the last second. Same thing with Gasova, you know, agree in personal terms, but again, not a deal we've been able to get over the line for financial reasons. That's not really in Tim Steiden's control. As much as people kind of say it is, it's not really. He's there to negotiate and persuade the player to kind of come to West Ham, which has happened. What happened with Guilherme, right? And it's the reason he's probably a big factor in that move. You know, it's not easy to go to these places and find find the talent and B, bring the talent back with you. And it's obvious we're linked to, you know, we've been linked with so many different players across Europe. It's not just going out into these obscure places. So I think with what Steiden said there is correct. It's you need to look into different markets. And if you want to grow as a club, both financially and, you know, if you're thinking about the logistics of a football club and their expansion worldwide as a global club, you have to do that sort of thing. So I think for me, I have no issue with that. And also, you know, one of the other comments that was made in the press conference from Lopetegui regarding incoming transfers was, we are working to improve. We're happy with the players we've got, but of course, we're going to try and improve. We have to work very hard to be ready for the Premier League, and we would like players as soon as possible, but it's not easy. So again, they're already alluding to the fact once again that they know there is work to do. They're not under any illusion that what we have right now is going to be good enough for the season. But it's tough to get these deals done. And, you know, things take time. We're still only in July. We've still got 2 months of the transfer window left. Yes, we probably ideally have a couple more signings done by this point, ready for pre-season, but that's just football.
Exactly. And I think, you know, I said how refreshing it was to see or feel like there was a plan in place. And we can both sit here and say, oh, you know, we'd like to have Wesley over the line by now and a centre back in place. They've been trying to do that, you know, It just hasn't worked out. So as football often is, you know, if you can go out and get the best deal possible in a position that you know you need, then it gives you options later in the window for the other areas. If, say, we went out and got Sugawara off AZ Alkmaar at a cheap price, then it opens up the door for someone like Soufal. And if Soufal is unhappy and comes to the club and says, look, I'd like to move away, you can do that, as opposed to having someone who's unhappy in the camp. So it's obviously about lining these deals up, but also about having the opportunity as well. If you get all your business done on day one, that's fantastic, but you have to be able to adapt. And if you spend all your budget a week into the window and then Kudu snaps his leg, Like, you know,
Yeah.
heaven forbid and touch wood.
Yeah, I am.
You know, it's just, you have to be prepared for these things. And whether that means going out into the loan to buy market, or you get an agent contact you a week before the window shuts and they say, oh, look, I've got this player, Matthias Sula, he's not going to get the game time at Juventus. He's available, loan to buy, but it needs a fee up front. If you spent all your money in the window, you can't make it work. So it's about the fine balance of these things. And I think, as you know, I've said a few times now, having a plan or feeling like we have a plan in place is just a nice change of pace, as opposed to scattergun everywhere.
Also, there's a lot of other nuances happening right now. You've got the Euros, you've got obviously the Copa America as well, which Lucas Paquetá is at, and you know a lot of big international teams are at. So it doesn't make it easier to do these deals. And you know the fact that, again, they spoke about Paquetá and you know building that. You know the first thing that they said was you know making sure he was okay. It was good to see him playing with a smile on his face for Brazil in their last game, which again I thought was a really nice thing to say. So they're very much on the Paquetá camp, which again is it's not just part of the it's not about just buying players this summer. It's also about how can we build and keep our existing assets, especially when we don't have European football. So they're probably trying to balance that as well, because again, as you mentioned, things can happen later in the window. Paquetá could definitely move later on in the window because of his circumstances, and then that readjusts things. That adjusts you have to kind of then adjust your plan accordingly to replace for that. So it's got to be a balance. And you know, another quote that came out from Tim Steidten is, I can't tell you specifics, but it will be a busy summer for us for sure. The owner and the board have done a really good job over recent years, so we're in good shape financially. We do not need to sell to buy. So he has explicitly told you, the person who is doing the scouting, that we do not need to sell to raise funds this summer. And again, this is the kind of big topic of conversation right now, Slough, is where's the money? Where are we going to be able to, do we have to sell players to then bring players in? Absolutely not. There's a budget there. We've said it the whole summer. There is a budget there to work with in multiple areas of the pitch. It's not just going to be, you know, we've got 50 million to spend this summer and anything else is going to be potential outgoings, like some of the reports were saying. Again, I don't know what the exact figure people were saying was, but there's no way it's those figures. We have a lot more money than people think this summer. It's just about using that wisely. And if we announce to the press that we've got 250, 300 million spend, what do you think clubs like, you know, I know Wolves are kind of inflating, but clubs we're trying to get deals for will just inflate it by 5 or 10 million every time. So what's your thoughts on the kind of overall transfer budget and the strategy? Because I think Tim Steiden's kind of squashed most of those rumors, right?
Yeah, I think that's what's really good to hear, is that it's kind of hinting and not showing. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, we have got money, we're going to be comfortable, we're going to be able to get business done. But again, it's not showing your hand. And if you said, oh, you know, we've got a massive budget, then every team's going, oh, like rubbing their hands together and thinking, oh, I'll have a slice of that.
Exactly.
Look, we all know that clubs on the continent, you know, when a Premier League club comes knocking, they generally tend to raise their price a bit.
Yeah.
It's I don't think I'm being out of line to say that, but it's just good to hear someone planning for those kind of eventualities. And if it takes an extra couple of million, we've got that in place. It's reassuring the fan base as well. You know, I think we've all had conversations about selling to buy and panics about the finances of the club, because we've had David Sullivan in charge for so long.
Yeah.
And we've had the same old sort of, you know, paupers bowl out. And I think it's the whole season ticket renewal time. Oh, yeah, we're getting all the exciting names because it's season renewal ticket time. And it's like, look, it's because it's the window's just opened, and normally there's the international lot. Like it's there's not always a competition, so we get linked with these names to sell papers or to click. But it's refreshing to see that someone is basically calming the fan base and saying, we've got plans, we've got irons in the fire, and we will make sure that we get deals done. There's a healthy budget in place, but there's also a set price that we want to spend on areas. And I think, you know, X got a bit of flack for this earlier in the window when he basically said there's a set amount for every position.
Yeah.
He's had to elaborate because I think people have taken that as, oh no, there's a budget, like there's a small budget, and that's not what that means.
Yeah.
So it's one hand, I'm very confident in terms of, you know, it's again hinting that we've got a large budget, but it's not being silly about it. And particularly in the past at West Ham, you know, oh, we want to be competing for the Champions League places. We want to be pushing all, like going to this next level. There are certain things that you say that have ramifications. And if you say something like that, then suddenly every club's going to go, well, if you want that player and you want to get to that level, you got to pay.
Yeah.
So I think these are really good comments, and I can't wax lyrical enough about how, you know, it's 22 minutes and I kind of sat there and it went by like that. I thought they came across really well, and it was I think even a few ex-players were there. Anton Ferdinand was there, and he came across like he'd been really impressed as well.
Yeah, no, I think it's again, we need to be very careful because right now we said it, Julen Lopetegui wasn't our first pick as manager. But it's happened. And now we have to trust his philosophy, trust his staff, trust what him and Steidten are doing in the transfer market to bring this football club forwards. You know, there's nothing else we can do as fans right now because we haven't got any other evidence to go off. You know, we haven't played a game. It's his first official day of the job. And there's a lot of work to be done. Look, we're under no illusion that this is going to be a massive transfer window for West Ham for this next 2 months. This next 2 months is massive for us because if we again, if this press conference was in 6 weeks' time and we just started, just about to start the Premier League season, they're saying, look, there's budget, we're working on things, it's going to be a busy next few weeks. That to me isn't good enough because that's not forward planning. But these guys have been working before the summer transfer window even opened. They brought in Gil Hermy before the official window was announced. So let's give them time. Let's put our trust in both of them to get the right stuff done. And until otherwise, there's no point kind of getting frustrated or thinking that we're not going to have a successful window because they're battling to keep our key players after failing after losing Europe. B, they're trying to find these players that would want to come to West Ham when we don't have that European power anymore. And C, there's just a lot going on right now with the Euros, Copa America, other situations. We've got preseason starting soon. So there's a lot of nuances to what's happening. But for me, I think we just need to trust them. We need to put our trust into them. That's all we can do right now as fans and see what happens. We've got 8 weeks until the official window ends. So there's no point stressing right now. There's so much time. So I think they both came across really, really well. I think Lopetegui's definitely impressed a lot of the fan base after what was a little bit of an underwhelming appointment to many, with other names being linked to us, including ourselves on this channel. But I think he's come across really well. And, the philosophy he has in place, everything he's kind of said and stated, and, you look at his track record at the likes of Sevilla, getting appointed as Real Madrid manager didn't work out. But there's a reason why you get appointed as Real Madrid manager. It's not because you're a shit manager. There's a reason behind it. So, yeah, I think we just need to trust what's happening and see what happens, and then take it from there.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think that when you're looking at the staff involved, Steidten and Lopetegui, it's important to remember that Lopetegui's background's in scouting. He is the man who brought Higuain to Real Madrid. So it's not like he is just pointing at players on a sheet and going, "Oh, I like him." Like he's Sam Allardyce doesn't get the credit that he deserves, in my opinion, for this. He used to have a file of facts that he took to every single club of every player in every position that he wanted or felt that he needed, and one of those players was Dimitri Payet. We wouldn't have signed Dimitri Payet if it hadn't been for Sam Allardyce, because he did a lot of the groundwork in terms of selling that idea of being able to get him to the ball. If you can have one Dimitri Payet from Julen Lopetegui or Tim Steidten working together, I think that's that should be enough for any West Ham fan, really. Hopefully, there's many Dimitri Payets in the pipeline, but I think when you're looking at the type of scouting that these guys have done in the past and the players that they've brought in, the pearl diver Steidten is, we can list all those players, but I think it's important to get a sense of perspective, but also confidence, quiet confidence from what they've said today.
Yeah, exactly. And I think as well, it's another massive point is we're trying to change the philosophy of the club this summer transfer as well. You know, it's a completely new, fresh, clean slate. It's not like you've had a manager for a couple of years. The players have bought into the identity. They know the direction they want to go in. This is going to be completely new. It's a new change for West Ham fans, for those West Ham players, for the board, for Tim Steidten. Like it's a completely different mindset shift. So I think we just need to be very patient with it. I think the overall outcome of that press conference was really, really positive. I think both Tim Steidten and Lopetegui came across really, really well with what they said, and they've kind of debunked some of the stuff online we've been reading about the budget, about why we're scouting different areas, and also it was a really nice touch to what they mentioned about Lucas Paquetá as well. So yeah, let us know what you thought about Julen Lopetegui's first official press conference as a West Ham manager. And yeah, are you now excited for what is going to be a roller coaster, I'm sure, 8-week window left for West Ham United in the transfer market this summer? So yeah, let us know what you thought. Leave a comment down below. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. And Sloth, till the next one.
Come on, you eyes.